Hello, this is Marcus Daniel, and today I'll be recording this podcast to share my reflections about the course New Trends in Sustainable and Regenerative Business, which I took last February of 2023 in my full-time MBA at Esade. I'll divide this podcast into 5 units, four of them to cover one of the four modules of this course, plus a final wrap up with my overall thoughts about the whole content. So, in this first module, we've seen the sustainability challenges we face nowadays, some of which are more known and vocal than others, and the current approaches we have in place to tackle those challenges. And in the end, we saw one of the new trends in the system, which is the nature-based solutions. Beginning with the planetary boundaries framework, I think it's an awesome tool to help us understand where to focus our efforts, but we do have an additional challenge here, which is how to raise awareness about all the high risk zone boundaries we have. For instance, we discuss a lot the climate change. Of course, it is a real problem, and I really feel we are progressing, uh, although not in the pace we would need to. However, we don't discuss biodiversity loss at all with the same intensity. So here I think entities in general are missing the momentum of climate change to bring together at the same level the discussion about biodiversity. And then exploring the current and new approaches, I feel pretty much positive, even though they're not perfect. For instance, the acknowledgement that we need to integrate the solution to those challenges into business models. And then we discussed foretelling, selling to unleash, or increasing efficiency. This is a key point that solves the tension between business and sustainable interests because now they're integrated. Moreover, talking about codes of conduct and multi-stakeholder initiatives, again, though not perfect, they are tools that help companies move from inertia to better govern those matters. As well as nature-based solutions can be used as a mechanism to solve sustainable issues, even with their limitations regarding escalation and financial health. So overall here, I feel we are progressing towards solutions that will help us in this endeavor we have ahead. In the second unit, we cover the challenge of holding global warming, how companies are doing in terms of reporting, and which standards are there. For example, the SBTs, which are the science-based targets for carbon neutrality, to finish with the discussions about net zero initiatives, which leverages we still have, and how to be transparent about them. As seen in the previous unit, climate change is the most addressed, let's say, topic inside companies among the global issues of sustainability we have. And in this fight, reporting is absolutely crucial. And knowing we already have standards and best practices is the good news. But the bad news is that companies still, if not poorly, the best scenario, partially comply with them, which was super evident by the way the exercises we did in class. And here I do think regulation would play an important role. We can learn from financial statement reporting, of course, taking what works well and what doesn't to finally create a regulated ESG reporting to better track the pathways companies are taking. With proper regulation in place, companies will be obliged to have an effective action plan to reduce emissions, in this case, including scopes 1, 2, and 3, um, and not rely just on carbon credits, for example, as we saw that the potential of carbon removal is minimal when compared to the reduction need in emissions to achieve carbon neutrality. And last, it would help striking greenwashing practices. After two modules, we were introduced to the regenerative concepts in agriculture and business, where we saw real cases of regenerative agriculture through the perspective of small communities in Spain, as well as through the lenses of Carla inside the big corporations such as General Mills. This module started with the comparison between the definitions of sustainability and regeneration, and it was the perfect moment for me to realize the importance of defining concepts here. At a first hand, it may sound pretty academic, but actually it helps all the stakeholders to share a common understanding in this new field of study, which is sustainability. Uh, Taking back the example of nature-based solutions, this is why the YUCN released a global standard for defining what is a nature-based solution. Additionally, what particularly caught my attention about regenerative agriculture is the importance of understanding in detail each area, community, and context to succeed, which brings as a result in this challenge of scalability of the solutions. So if you don't act close to the ground, you'll probably be missing the factors of success for a project like this. Anyway, to finish, I must point out that I love the mindset behind the regenerative concept, which is this urgency and this sense that we need to take a step further because just sustaining or preserving could not be enough given the time frame we have. So it's challenging, but I hope we as a society continue to invest in it. Now, coming to the final unit, we outlined the types of interactions businesses and governments have, how lobbying can be a tool for businesses to influence governments, what is the current landscape regarding regulations related to climate change, and two cases to exemplify the challenges about those relationships. I'll start talking about the two types of measures of incentives, let's say, regarding sustainable practices we have currently, where Europe is pushing for more and more strict regulations, and the US going to the opposite way with public funding and tax credits as incentives. I particularly think it's great having those two models because we can assess the efficacy of both at the same time to target a more mature model in the next few decades. And the final role play exercise we did was a perfect capstone to show how different stakeholders, in that case, small company, a big company, government, community, environmental entities, have to negotiate and collaborate to finally leverage impact in those sustainable matters. Okay, now to quickly wrap up, I'll highlight three takeaways from the course that, in my opinion, are the most important ones. First, I'm leaving this course more optimistic than I was before. There's a lot of effort in trying to figure out better ways to face the environmental issues of our planet. However, we still lack more research, more initiatives, and more commitment to get more solid results. And this connects with my second point, which is complexity. Everything here is complex. There is no unique solution that can solve all our problems, or even a solution without trade offs. Every initiative has trade offs involved. So I think we are finally move on, and this makes me to be optimistic, but I still have a long way to go. And the final, and in my vision, the key point is collaboration. As a society, not only taking care of our responsibility will be enough. We need to act as an organism to achieve the formula 1 plus 1 greater than 2. And this is what we need. Thanks very much for listening and see you. Bye bye.